I'm not sure everybody's here yet, but we're going to go ahead and start. Before Sherry introduces our keynote speaker, we have a special treat for you. Sama Wareh is an amazing young woman. I've known her mother. Oh, there. Now you can hear me. I just said before Sherry introduces our keynote speaker, we have a treat for you. Sama, last year for our Caring for Creation conference, Sama recited a poem that she wrote that she had set to music, and we want to share that with you again today. Sama is one of our most amazing environmental activists. She got her master's degree in environmental studies, and she was the speaker for the commencement. She got a special award for her video, which I have seen, called Drops in the Sand, and it's about water issues in Syria, where her family's from. It's a wonderful video that she'd never made a documentary before, but there it was, and did a fabulous job with that. She works at the Environmental Nature Center now in Newport Beach, and she does outreach. She gives programs to churches, schools, scout groups, and so forth. And she is also an artist. I went to one of her exhibits at Cal State Fullerton 3 years ago. Amazing artist, just amazing, and she does a lot of her artwork for the environment also. So anyway, Sama is going to share her poem. I don't think it has a name. Does it have a title? No. No title. Okay, this is Sama Wareh.
Oh, Margaret, thanks for that introduction. Yeah, I work at the Environmental Nature Center. I'm the traveling naturalist for them, and I write programs, and I go and take them to schools and teach kids about the environment. And we also do like all kinds of fun lectures and workshops and native gardening and whatnot. So there's the guy in the room that I'm supposed to give the signal to. So let's begin. Ready? 50 years ago, a wild idea was laughed at. It might have well been just about as ludicrous as selling leftover lint residue from the dryer, or all the used coffee-stained styrofoam cups. Who would ever pay for something like that when it's free? And likewise, who would ever pay for water when it's free? Well, that idea wouldn't be laughed at now, because now in America, by the time it takes me to finish this next line, 1,000 plastic water bottles will have been consumed and 1,000 plastic bottles will be thrown away. By this time tomorrow, 86,400,000 plastic bottles will have been consumed and tossed aside, which is the exact amount of how many milliseconds there are in a day. I'm not even going to attempt to do the math right now on how much money is sitting in somebody's pocket from extracting these resources. 17 million barrels of oil a year to be exact, and water that was probably taken from poor communities. So that begs me to ask, how long will it take before humans place a price tag on anything and everything? Before we start selling clean ocean water to the fish, or block the sun from shining and then bottle that up as well? Charge a fee every time a handicapped person uses a ramp, or charge a nesting fee to birds along with a cleanup fee, a pet fee, a restoration fee, and an extra fee just because we can? Before we sign black, bloody ink on deals that are written in the sand? How long will it be before we put a price tag on clean air? Should we bottle that up too? The Air You Can Trust campaign? Maybe the title of the bottle can be Airhead. Will we forget to hold our politicians accountable for not regulating it? Will we forget that it is our right to breathe, just as it is our right to have access to clean water? That our city's responsibility is to make our water clean enough to drink, including our tap water. We know the value of a forest that is standing. We know the value of a forest in terms of lumber and paper. Some trees are valued at $700 and possibly more depending on what you do with them. But what is the value of a forest that sequesters carbon? Is it the same value as artificial technology slated at $1.5 billion to sequester that same carbon? because the last time I checked, artificial technology could not support an entire ecosystem. Neither could artificial technology house a nest or decompose back into fertilizer for new growth. It's time that we start pointing out some fingers and calling out some violations. So I'll go first since I have the microphone. Here's my finger, and I'm gonna point it at myself because I have purchased bottled water before, thus sending a message to the manufacturer that I like it. I have bought new shoes many times before, saying that it's okay if I'm not quite sure what goes on in the factory and where they dump their pollution. Ignorance is bliss, I suppose. But perhaps it's not. Not if I compromise the price for long-term health effects. I also used to drive an SUV, telling oil companies that I am dependent on them for my transportation. I'm guilty of forgetting to bring my reusable bags to the supermarket, thus taking new ones. I say guilty because it only takes a little extra effort for me to store it in my car and pull it out every time I need to go shopping. I can only point fingers at myself for now because I can only make a difference based on what decisions I make every day. It's called purchasing power. So let's think. Let's rethink our thinking. Let's reassess what's valuable. Restructure our core with a foundation so strong, money can't break it. So strong that steel cowers in front of it and the Santa Ana winds try to avoid it, melting away greed and corruption. I suppose you can tell a lot about the future of a country by how much open land they still have left, for it means that not only do they value plants and animals, they also value each other. How much money would you pay to know that someday you could go to Alaska and still hear the howling of a wolf? That you could still experience a thunderstorm in the middle of an open field? Or a rainbow bouncing off of two untouched mountains? If the earth were nothing but buildings, built out to every last square inch, how much would you pay to see a tree or to know that somewhere not too far you could escape? Since negative ions produce a calming feeling, and negative ions come from running water, would you rather buy sedatives or just sit near a running stream? Do we really need to translate all the effects of wilderness into money to appreciate its worth? We need a paradigm shift, and then a shift will happen. I pray that in the future, we can all learn how to only take pictures, and alas, leave no footprints behind. Thank you.